Well, happy Monday, Capital City Baptist Church. It's good to be with you again. Thanks for joining us yesterday for a wonderful time of worship. I pray that you and your families gathered, even though we were scattered, you gathered together to sing and worship and then open God's Word with us yesterday. Yeah, I just want to say hello to you from a different place at the church today. I spend the day on Mondays here and getting as much as done as I can in one day before we all take turns being here. But once again, thanks to Lynn and to Mary Ellen for coming down and keeping things going here on other days at the church. We're here to check the mail and to be available for anybody that might just happen to stop by. And actually today that did happen. I just maybe give you a view. This is backwards, but as you walk in the doors here at the church, this is normally what you see first, and then the next thing you might see is this beautiful painting behind me and these chairs where some of you actually find your roost on Sunday mornings. But today I'm going to take your spot and just talk to you for just a moment. I was going to mention just this morning, please be praying for a young woman named Tia. She stopped by and looking for a pair of socks. And you know what? I couldn't find any socks here at the church, and we would like to have some things available for anybody that may contact us. Now, we don't have probably the ability to keep things that are perishable for a long time to hand out to people, but we'd like to be able to hand someone a brown bag with some things in it. And so I'm going to appeal to you, and I'm going to make some special requests, so listen very carefully to this. We'd like to have some things to give out to people as they come, and we have a lot of things already, but what we don't have are socks. And I don't mean somebody's gently used or used socks. We'd like to have some new socks to give someone in a bag with some other things when they come to visit us. Now, before we have 1 million people send 10 pairs of socks each, so we'll end up with 30 million socks here. Just give myself a call, and I'm pretty much handling this, and I'd like to kind of keep an eye on this. So if you give me a call or send me a text message or an email to me, then I can kind of monitor how much we have, so we don't have so much we don't know what to do with it. We'll find a place for it, but we're just going to try to do things in moderation here, so we don't have too much and no place to put it. And also looking for some individual bags of chips, maybe a box with individual bags of chips, and the same thing for little packages of cookies or crackers and cheese, like the 6 crackers, 6 cookies in a slot, those kind of things. And we're going to make up some bags with a little gospel in it and some water we already have and some other things like that. So some of you have been wanting to do some things and haven't been able to do anything for anyone, and here's your opportunity. So contact me, okay? So don't just bring it to the church, as we're going to organize this a little bit. So give me a call, give me a text, send me an email, contact me some way, and we'll make this happen. Okay, let's do this together. I also want you to be praying for the Union Gospel Mission. They've had to shut down their meetings and their meals that they do every night, the chapel. And obviously we serve on the 4th Tuesday of every month, and we haven't been able to do that now this will be the 2nd month now. So be praying for them. They do have other needs. We received a newsletter from the Union Gospel Mission, and they weren't necessarily asking for us to bring them food or clothing as such, but I know they still accept some of those things. But they are asking if you are able to give a little bit of extra this month. If you're already a giver towards the gospel mission, they could certainly use those things. Something that kind of came to my attention today too is we have plums out on the trees on the property. So if you are familiar with the plums or the trees that are here on the property, and you would like to have some of those plums, give us a call down at the church to find out when we're going to be here, so the gates are open, and bring a bucket, and they're pickable. They can be picked. So we don't want them to go to waste just because we're not here. So just coordinate with the church so you know the gate's open, and just give Lynn or myself a call, and we'll make sure we're here at that time, or when we're here, so you can do that. Hey, hopefully you're getting ready for Wednesday night. Pilgrim's Progress, once again, backwards the way this camera is, but Pilgrim's Progress, starting this Wednesday. And as far as a reading schedule, I'm going to say basically for this first week or two, I might tell you more a little bit on Wednesday when we meet, but read the chapter 1. You're going to read up to where the character goodwill appears in your readings. Some books, like this book here that I have, is a very old copy, and it's not divided into chapters. And I have a book that's a digital book, and I'm going to read through chapter 2. Yours may be different, but it's when goodwill appears in the story. When you see goodwill show up, stop there. And that's kind of where we're going to go. I'm going to get some questions out to you, just very simple questions. I'll get those out to you this afternoon. They'll go out to everybody on the email list, and eventually we'll pare that down a little bit to just the people that are interested in this study. But we're going to send out to everybody, so if you are interested, we don't miss anyone. So that's what I want to just say as far as just a couple of things, announcements to remember. Continue to pray for the Cox family. Ed is now home from his rehab stay and preparing for possibly what might be the end of life. So just pray for him and his family, for Carolyn as she does what she can to continue to help him. Remember, she has some physical limitations too because of her problems with her arm and her leg. So continue to pray for her and for the family, which are about the only ones that can help them now because of the shelter-in-place order. And thank you for your prayers for Demoris. She's back home. Just one night stay in the hospital. It wasn't as severe as she thought, but still, she had a little bit of an incident with a TIA. So just TIA. So just please continue to pray for her as she's recovering for that. Hey, I just want to encourage you. We're coming out of Easter, and this afternoon, I just wanted to say, I've told you I get a lot of blogs and a lot of devotionals, and I come across some that are really, really good at times, and received this one this morning from Randy Alcorn, the Eternal Perspectives Ministries. I get his every day, and they're always really, really good. And he kind of pulled an excerpt out of a book written by Paul David Tripp, and it's called New Morning Mercies, a Daily Gospel Devotional. And the point that posting this March 31st entry talks about the cross, and the cross is probably one of the darkest moments we could imagine. And if you allow me, I'm going to read just a paragraph here that he wrote. At the center of the biblical worldview is this radical recognition: the most horrible thing that ever happened was the most wonderful thing that ever happened. Consider the cross of Jesus Christ. Could it be possible for anything or something to happen that was more terrible than this? Could any injustice be greater? Could any loss be more painful? Could any suffering be worse? The only man who ever lived a life that was perfect in every way possible, who gave his life for the sacrifice of many, and who willingly suffered from birth to death in loyalty to his calling, was cruelly and publicly murdered in the most vicious of ways. How could it happen that the Son of Man could die? How could it happen that men could capture and torture the Messiah? Was this not the end of everything good, true, and beautiful? If this could happen, is there any hope for the world? Well, Paul goes on to say that, yes, there is hope, and the hope is Jesus Christ. And the darkest, awfulest moment, this moment of death, was just the prelude to a tremendous moment of life, of resurrection. And as we go through these times, just coming through Easter, we should be mindful of the transition from death to life. Jesus did that in 3 days. Now, we've been in this lockdown for a lot longer than that. I heard someone say the other day that it's March 50th. they're counting days from March. But, there's been a lot of pain and sorrow and death through this COVID-19 and some pretty dark times and dark things for people that are dealing with it. But when you look on the other side of this, and as I've mentioned before, God only knows when and where and how this other side's going to be. But when we look on that other side, there's going to be new lives that children have been born through this that we're going to be able to celebrate. Think of the renewal of our friendships, both with our family and our friends, the renewal of friendships, the renewal of being together. Think of the life that's going to bring us. To me, that's a tremendous reminder. And in my daily Bible reading, I've been reading through the Bible. I've been using the chronological as it happened app this year, and been reading through Samuel and the end of Samuel and just the tragic times for the children of Israel and the death of Saul and his sons and Saul chasing David all over the place. But the tragic ending at the end of 1 Samuel, Saul loses his life as well as Jonathan and his other son. And just seems like a really dark, dark day for Israel. And as I began 2 Samuel this morning, I was reading and how David lamented and just the dealings that have even started in the first 4 or 5 chapters of 2 Samuel, how the civil war breaks out between Judah and Israel, and the lights went off. And so lights are back on. So this death, this darkness is there, but we know, because we know what happened, we can read the scriptures and we see the life that was created and how Israel became, or Judah, Israel were reunited, and it became the nation that God wanted for such a long time. In the midst of all this reading, there's some passages in Psalm that are intermixed in this reading, because these readings are called the Psalms of Ascent, and or Songs of Ascent. And the reading I took began in chapter 120 of Psalm, and 121 and 122, 123, 124, all the way through to chapter 130, I believe. And they go beyond that. But the words, reading these words, I think as we are looking now, even listening to news reports today and on projections on the other side, let me just read to you from Psalm, and I just want to leave you with these words. And I'm going to read to you Psalm, I'm going to read to you from Psalm 120, 125, and that's kind of the one I picked out of all of these, just to encourage you this day. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved but abides forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from his time forth and forever. For the scepter of wickedness shall not rest on the land allotted to the righteous. Let the righteous reach out their hands to iniquity. Do good, O Lord, to those who are good, and to those who are upright in their hearts. As for such as turn aside to their crooked ways, the Lord shall lead them away with the workers of iniquity. Peace be upon Israel. Chapter 28, Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord, who walks in his ways. When you eat the labor of your hands, you shall be happy, and it shall be well with you. Your wife shall be a fruitful vine in the very heart of your house, your children like olive plants all around your table. Behold, thus shall the man be blessed who fears the Lord. The Lord bless you out of Zion, and may you see the good of Jerusalem all the days of your life. Yes, may you see your children's children. Peace upon Israel. So I just encourage you today to spend some time reading in the Psalms and reading through chapters 120 and on, ringing the songs of ascent as Israel cries out to the Lord for help, and then the Lord answers, and they praise him and they bless him for that. I just pray that you have a blessed day today as we move from darkness into light. I encourage you, if you want to help with some things that I mentioned earlier, to reach out to me and to make arrangements. Also, as we look to the other side of this and thinking about how we're going to conduct church, how we're going to meet together, I was on a discussion with about 300 pastors earlier today, and that was one of the discussions that we had, is how are we going to construct our services, our church service, our meeting together as we come out of this sheltering in place. I'd like to hear some of your ideas. So if you're more comfortable with a phone call, give me a phone call. But it'd be great if you'd just write me an email or write me a letter. Some of you have been sending me little notes, and I really, really appreciate those. It's been hard not to be with you, and to receive your cards and notes have been just a wonderful blessing to me. But if you have some thoughts about this, if your thumbs can handle a text that long, I can read them. I may not answer really long, but I may write you an email instead. But I'd like to hear some of your feedback. I'd like to know what you're thinking about our church service as we come out of this. Do we need to do some things different? What are your suggestions? I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to know what you all are thinking. Instead of maybe a few of us making decisions for everybody, we're going to make some decisions as your leadership here at the church on how to construct our service when we come back together. But I'd love to hear what you all have to say about that and how you think we may need to do that. Now, that doesn't mean if you make this suggestion, we may not exactly do as you've suggested, but we want to take all these ideas and thoughts in totality and muster together a great plan for coming back together. Well, God bless you today, and we look forward to more devotionals throughout the week, tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, starting our little study of the book Pilgrim's Progress. So have a great day. Sorry this is a little bit longer, but it's Monday, and I thought maybe I'd fill in a few blanks for you. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.